We're going to first talk about non-isosceles trapezoids. So we don't have any sides that are congruent, but we do have one pair of parallel sides. So when we talk about isosceles, we have two legs that are congruent. So the legs are congruent and the opposite sides or the other sides are actually parallel. So if we have this, opposite angles are going to be supplementary. The base angles are going to be congruent. That means if this angle over here is 60, this one over here is 60. The top one is 120, the other one is 120. Well, it's nothing like just getting to work. Unit 7, Day 5, we're going to talk about trapezoids. All right, so here we have a trapezoid because we have parallel sides. So here are my parallel sides right here. So we know from chapter 3 that same side interior angles add up to 180. So angle J plus angle M equals 180 degrees. So that means that this angle over here in the corner is 93. Over here we have angle K and L. So angle K plus angle L also adds up to 180 degrees. And so when we subtract 51 from 180, we get 129. This is a four-sided figure, so we would expect all the angles to add up to 360 degrees, and you can check it and see if it does. This next one, is it an isosceles trapezoid? Well, we can't say it is because we don't have congruent opposite sides, but we do have parallel lines. We know that when we have parallel lines, angles right next to each other add up to 180. So that means angle Q plus angle R equals 180 degrees. Go ahead and do the algebra and let's see what you get for your final answer. So here we are. We combine like terms. We get 19x plus 10 is equal to 180. We solve for x and we get x is equal to 10. Sometimes students stop right here, but we always have to go back and read the question. It says find the measure of angle R. So we plug it back in. We have some important vocabulary with this one. It says it is an isosceles trapezoid. The fact that it is a trapezoid means we have opposite sides are parallel. And now in this case, we have the opposite non-parallel sides are actually equal. Take a look at your symbol right here. It's congruent, so we're not looking for a value. We're looking for another segment that's the same as D to G. So what's congruent to D to G? And it would be segment E to F. What's congruent to the diagonal DF? And it would be the diagonal EG. They are the same. Here, when we read through the problem, we see the word isosceles trapezoid. So we're going to go ahead and mark it. Two sides are going to be equal and the other sides are going to be parallel. So MP is 16x minus 13, and what we know is that MP is going to be congruent to NO. We substitute in for MP 16x minus 13 and for NO 9x plus 8. We pause and we do the algebra and let's see what we get for x. We finish the algebra and it says x is equal to 3. However, we cannot move on because it says find x and y. So let's figure out what y is. So y is a part of the diagonal, and because it's isosceles, we know they are congruent. So let's see what we do next. And what we do is we substitute what Pn is equal to and what Mo is equal to, and now we do the algebra to figure out what y is. And we find out y is equal to 8. All right, so we're going to talk about our last property of a trapezoid, and it is the mid-segment of a trapezoid. So the mid-segment of a trapezoid connects the midpoints of each leg. So I'm going to go ahead and color in the parallel lines in red. I'm going to go back over the mid-segment in blue. So here it says if EF is a mid-segment, then we have parallel lines. We have the 3 parallel lines. And now it's saying that the mid-segment is equal to the sum of the bases divided by 2. Well, what we can say is we need 2 of the mid-segments to equal the first base plus the second base. This may sound slightly familiar to you. Let's see how familiar it does sound. We talked about in first semester the mid segment of a triangle. And we said that the mid segment is definitely parallel to the third side. And we also said that we needed two mid segments to actually equal the long side. So if we have the mid segment is 10, we need two of those to equal the third side. And so 10 times 2 is 20. But now we're working with a trapezoid. And so here I'm going to color my mid segment in red. And I need two mid segments to equal the sum of the bases. So my mid segment, I'm always going to grab it up and multiply it by 2. Why? Because I need two of those. So 2 of my mid segments is going to equal my base 1 plus my base 2. Well, 2 mid segments is going to give me 30. And my first base is 20. My second base is 10. So 30 is equal to 30. Check. So let's see how we apply this to do the problems in the booklet. So here we go. We always read carefully. It's telling us that it is a trapezoid and Y and Z are the midpoints. And we need to find Y to Z. So what does this mean? That means that two mid segments are going to equal the first base plus the second base. So two mid segments, I'm going to go ahead and color my mid segment in blue. So I need two of these. So let's just go ahead and put parentheses around it and put a 2 in front of it. So two mid segments, which is 5x minus 19, is going to be equal to my bases. And so let me go ahead and color my bases in red. So that's going to be 38 plus x plus 14. Go ahead and do the algebra and let's see what you get for x. After doing the algebra, I find out that x is equal to 10. Am I done? The answer is no. The question said, what is yz? And y to z is represented by 5x minus 19. So let me go ahead and substitute my 10 in for x. And what do I get? I get 5 times 10 minus 19, which is 31. My question to you, is this 31 units or is this 31 degrees? What are we talking about? Well, it's a segment, so it's going to be units. Let's read through the problem carefully. For trapezoid at WXYZ, U and V are midpoints of the legs. Find UV. So basically I have parallel sides, which are going to be my bases, and I have a mid segment. I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses around my mid segment because I need two mid segments, and that's going to equal my parallel sides, base 1 and base 2. So I set it up. 2 times 8x minus 3 is equal to my base, x plus 7, plus my other base, which is 6x plus 5. Go ahead and do the algebra and see what your final answer is. Here we go. We combine like terms, and then we have 16x minus 6 equals 7x plus 12. We move our x's. We get 9x is equal to 18 and x is equal to 2. A lot of students will stop right here, but you always got to go back and read the question. And the question says to find UV, and that's a mid-segment. So I plug it back in and I get 13 units. So this concludes the lesson on trapezoids. You can do three to five more problems in this section, show it to your teacher, and then get the next assignment.